Right now, all new here at 5:30, it is down to two, Ben Shuldiner and Brian Yearwood, the finalists to lead JCPS to replace Marty Polio. The school district releasing their names last night late at 9:30, and we are breaking down their job history. Plus, what we're learning about them today from people who know them where they have worked in the past.
Yep, our education expert, Sam Corbett, a former JCPS board member, of course, has been on the phone finding out more about these two. And Sam, first of all, how difficult is it to narrow them down to just these two?
Well, they started with 34, and then my understanding is that 6 candidates came to Louisville this past Monday and Tuesday, met with the school board, and then they narrowed it down to 2.
Let's talk about the two. Let's show folks, these are the photos released of them last night. Can you tell us about each different individual? In fact, are they both superintendents at the moment?
No, technically not at the moment. Ben Shuldiner is the current superintendent in Lansing, Michigan. Lansing is a district of something less than 20,000 students.
He's on the left.
He's on the left on your screen, yes. And then Brian Yearwood was the superintendent in Columbia, Missouri until last fall. He left very suddenly. There are some questions about the way he left. And he's been actively looking for his next position for the last 4 or 5 months.
And specifically about Shuldiner first, they both have small districts that they're managing. How does that relate to JCPS?
Well, I think that we all understand the size and scale of JCPS. 100,000 kids, $2 billion budget. It's a big operation. In both cases, these superintendents in their most recent posts have been managing relatively small school systems, again, less than 20,000 kids. So a question for the school board, a question for the community. Can they make the adjustment from a smaller district to a pretty big JCPS?
Shuldiner right here went to Harvard. Have they been in these jobs a long time? You know, Marty Polio stayed quite a long time. Or are they sort of career superintendents trying to get up to the next position?
Well, in both cases, they've both been in their most recent position for 4 years. Again, Shuldiner's still in the position. Yearwood left after 4 years. Dr. Polio, as you suggested, was in 8 years. The national average for urban superintendents is something less than 3 years. So Louisville's actually been spoiled through the years because we've had a number of superintendents who have far exceeded that national average.
How important is it they find someone who can work with the Kentucky legislature?
It's critical. We've all seen the legislature's interest in JCPS and, may I say, frustration in some cases with JCPS. So this new superintendent has got to figure out day one how he is going to interact with the Kentucky legislature, the governor's office, the Kentucky Department of Education.
Let's talk about Brian Yearwood. You said he had a job for 3 years and then left last year. Right. What have you learned about that sort of disappearance? You compared it to what U of L just did with Kim Schatzel, the university president.
It just coincidentally was a very similar situation. He left last fall fairly suddenly. He signed a non-disclosure agreement with the school system, and ultimately the school district paid him a $667,000 to fulfill the balance of his contract. I think he had like 2 to 2.5 years left. And nobody knows, at least publicly, they haven't been talking about what happened, why did he leave. He said he wanted to spend more time with his family. He was going to go from Missouri back to Texas, where he was from. But interestingly enough, in less than 2 months, he was a finalist for a position in Kansas. He didn't get that job. He then was a finalist for a position in Delaware. He didn't get that job, and now he's a finalist at JCPS. I think it's fair to say that both of these gentlemen are aggressively pursuing their next position. And I might suggest because JCPS is a big district, it's a big position, you're well paid as school superintendents go. So obviously there's an attraction.
I know one of the Republican lawmakers that Isaiah had talked to was concerned about folks that weren't getting the jobs elsewhere coming to JCPS. Does that concern you at all?
Well, not necessarily, because when you put your name in and you go through the process and you're a finalist and there's 2 or 3 or 4 finalists, obviously only one person's going to be chosen. So in that business, you obviously lose more than you win.
Sam, do you believe these are the best candidates?
Well, hard to say, Doug, because we don't know who the other 4 finalists were. We don't know who was in that group of 34. We don't know if there were any local candidates from amongst Dr. Polio's existing staff. We have to assume and have faith in the elected board that they think these are the 2 best candidates that were in the pool.
Okay, some of the best questions coming up. Probably going to be from the public coming up on
Well,
May
we hope
20th.
so. I think the public needs to be engaged, needs to be involved, because this is too important a position for people not to know what's going on.
By the way, we want to say look for Sam's assignment education reports, which air during the commercial breaks here on WHS 11, and his appearances on Great Day Live here on WHAS 11. Inside JCPS schools covering the kids.
Right. We show nothing but positive, great things happening every day at JCPS.
Well, thanks for your insight on this. We appreciate it.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch it play out.
Yes, it's been a while since we've had a superintendent search. Appreciate it, Sam.